Thank you so much. I have one question to Suzanne. To what makes this choice? What distinguishes from random?
Yeah, that's a good question. Quantum mechanics, when we test very small, like isolated quantum systems, it appears to be random. And by random, it selects like from a probability distribution, which is shaped by the Schrödinger equation. But then when it collapses, it appears to sample randomly from that probability distribution. But that's only in the quantum systems we've explored so far. So what I'm looking at is, are there quantum systems where that rule breaks and you don't see this random sampling anymore? You see what you might call more of an intentional process, which comes from what I think is, I call it the universal reward function, but it's like a process whereby a wider quantum system or a quantum field that everything is entangled with actually makes an intentional choice. And what is it choosing to do? It's choosing actions that will help it maximize future conscious experience and well-being. So this actually ties in quite nicely to one of the earlier questions about evolution. So in this framework, evolution is kind of a byproduct of consciousness trying to emerge and expand and have more experiences. So if you're an idealist, everything is consciousness. And what happens is consciousness makes actions at the very small scale, even like the atomic or electron level, to try and pool more of itself together to have richer and richer experiences. And eventually that builds up to things like organisms that then start reproducing. But that like drive is baked in at a much deeper level of the universe. So you have to ask the question, if you're a kind of a Darwinist person that believes in like natural selection alone, why didn't it stop at bacteria? Because bacteria are much more successful in evolutionary terms than we are. They're much better adapted to the environment, but somehow evolution wants to make bigger and bigger and bigger brains. And so maybe it's not just maximizing survival of the fittest, but it's actually maximizing the most conscious experience. And that would then be compatible with the evolution because reproduction makes more conscious beings. But there's this like thing on top of it that also tries to maximize consciousness. So that's kind of what I think about that. Is there an intentional purpose? Is there a purpose to the universe? Yes, absolutely. And it's not just me saying this. People have said this throughout the whole of history, including physicists like Bohm with the implicate order, Platonic value systems, all these kind of things. So it points to this same idea that the universe has a kind of blueprint, and it's making choices through this kind of quantum uncertainty loophole that steers it towards more consciousness in the future.